It's a rare occasion to see pro golfers blatantly cheating, but when they do, you can bet it'll be controversial. Let's say one of the greatest of all time is one of those controversial professional golfers. Sorry to interrupt. If you want to help me build this channel so I can create more content, click that subscribe button and like this video. With 82 all-time PGA Tour victories, it's safe to say that Tiger Woods doesn't need to cheat to do well at the game. And while not logically cutting corners, this next anecdote did raise a few eyebrows. At the Phoenix Open in 1999, after a wild tee shot on the par 5 13th, Woods ended up with a pretty rough lie. Well, an almost impossible lie, as it was up against the boulder. He would have to do a drop shot to get back onto the fairway. But Tiger's fans came to the rescue. Although none of them actually touched these balls, they found a way around the problem. They took the boulder out of the path of Tiger's next shot, and voila, he was presented with a clear line to the green and even made a birdie. That was very controversial at the time, and to date, this is still spoken about because the size of his gallery gave him an obvious advantage. So, while not technically cheating, it was still cheating. After all, cheating is cheating. Do you guys remember Lexi Thompson, the LPGA Tour player caught by a snitch on TV? Oh, sorry, an eagle-eyed snitch. Back in 2017, an eagle-eyed viewer noticed that she'd replaced her ball incorrectly, signing an incorrect scorecard. So, he wasted no time emailing in to snitch on her. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazier part is that the fan caused Lexi a major title, the ANA Inspiration, after she was given a 4-stroke penalty. At the time of the penalty, Lexi Thompson was 2 strokes clear on the final day. But after the mystery mail, Lexi ended up 2 strokes behind, laying to rest her dreams of lifting the first major of the season. The lapse occurred on the 3rd day, when Lexi was out on the 17th green. As she marked her ball, the 27-year-old put it down literally seconds later in the wrong place. She barely even gained an advantage, but it was clearly placed closer to the hole. At first, Lexi thought she'd gotten away with it, but little did she know that an eagle-eyed viewer would notify officials via email. So, the next day, when she was on the 12th green of her final round, commentators began discussing the infraction that had taken place the previous day. Definitely, rules are rules, and golfers shouldn't be gaining an advantage by moving their balls. So, officials handed her a 2-stroke penalty for signing the incorrect scorecard and another 2 for playing from the wrong place. Now you know she was penalized. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more exciting golf content. However, Golf.com tracked down the mysterious fan who ratted her out, costing her a major and $155,000. He granted an interview on the condition his identity would be kept anonymous. The self-acclaimed Henry Hill of golf claimed he was in his tape room going through the replays of each broadcast, as usual, when he spotted the infraction. He immediately zoomed in to be sure, and that's how he nailed her. It turned out that Lexi wasn't his first victim either, as he'd claimed to have nailed Tiger Woods, Padraig Harrington, and many others in different competitions. While a snitch ratted out Lexi, the next golfer is known as a cheater from his college days. Back in 2018, in an event in the Bahamas, Patrick Reed was handed a 2-stroke penalty for improving his lie in a bunker. Brooks Koepka had claimed that his Ryder Cup teammate was building sandcastles in the bunker to improve his lie, and the tour slapped Reed with a 2-stroke penalty. While practicing a swing at the Hero World Challenge, the 2018 Masters winner had clipped sand in a waist area, but immediately denied doing anything wrong. A week later, Reed was booed by fans at the President's Cup meeting, and his caddy, who had had enough, tried to look out for his boss as he snapped at a fan. But what he didn't see coming was a brief suspension, a price he had to pay for loyalty. Coming up next is the big Phil Mickelson, so stick around. Here's the man everyone loves to hate at the moment, Lefty himself. At the 2018 US Open, Lefty did something every amateur golfer has done before, and after missing his putt, Phil hit his ball when it was still moving. There was nothing technical about this, it was outright cheating, and almost everybody suggested he should have been disqualified. However, by the time his offensive foul came about, Phil was way off the pace on the 3rd day of the event. At par 4 13th at Shinnecock Hills, the big Phil missed a relatively routine 7-footer and it carried on rolling down the hill. And what did he do? Unsurprisingly, he jogged past the hole toward his ball and hit it back toward the hole while it was still moving. You had to see him make that move. It was just like when kids watch their ball roll into the rough. Total chaos. Want to hear the craziest part? Start by hitting the subscribe button and tapping the like button to help us make more awesome golf content. After finally holing out for a 10, the 52-year-old was slapped with a 2-stroke penalty. The penalty seemed a little lenient for the gravity of his offense and what could have been more befitting, if not outright disqualification. But he wasn't, and when he revealed that he cheated on purpose, a lot of players became more furious. It was meant to take advantage of the rules as best you can, Mickelson continued. In that situation, I found myself going back and forth. I'd happily take the 2 shots over continuing that display. Some consider him egotistic and arrogant, but what do you make of Mickelson's antics? Reed might be an old-time cheat, but this is possibly the worst example of cheating you've ever seen. We're talking about Bavic Patel. Back in 2015, a little-known pro golfer, Bhavik Patel, was suspended while on tour for testing positive for banned performance-enhancing drugs. Despite denying any wrongdoing, Bavic was slapped with a 1-year ban. After the ruling, Patel released a statement stating that he regretted his actions, but was only trying to overcome an injury. In an effort to overcome it, came out stronger. Known as golf's golden boy from the late 50s to the 80s, Arnold Palmer is still one of the greatest golfers of all time, whose thrilling tournament victories, magnetic personality, and style of play inspired an American golf boom, and was one of the most popular athletes in the globe. However, some have suggested that his 1958 Masters win, his first ever, was won by cheating. At the par 3 12th of the renowned Amen corner, Arnold hit his tee shot toward the back of the green, which embedded itself in the mud between the back bunker and the fringe. Palmer concluded that due to the nature of the lie, it would be a drop without a penalty, but the officials demanded he replays it, saying it was half-plugged, a move Palmer initially resisted before replaying it. After moving the ball, he received an uncontested free drop. Although he scored a double bogey 5, he wasn't happy. He returned to the embedded scratch, where he dropped another over his shoulder, and the ball eventually played. This time he got it up and down for 3. He whispered to Ken Venturi, his playing partner, that they would allow the judge to figure it out. But being the golden boy, what do you really expect? Of course the judgment was in his favor. Rumors had it that favoritism was at play thanks to his iconic status. Palmer ended up winning the competition with a -4, while Venturi finished with a -2, and the duo never spoke again. Jane Blalock was basically the Lee Westwood of her day. She had plenty of tour wins, but could never quite get over the line in a major tournament. Blalock once went 299 tournaments in a row, making the cut, which is some achievement. The 1969 Rookie of the Year is a name that most people associate with the fantastic accomplishments she achieved throughout her career, but sadly, it really didn't pan out that way. Blalock is more associated with cheating thanks to her reputation of illegally marking her balls on the green and improving her lies. Fortunately, her lies ultimately weren't good enough and she was caught. She received a suspension for her underhanded tactics, which resulted in a bitter lawsuit against the LPGA. So, whose cheating do you think was way too far over the line? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, click to subscribe to help us create more amazing golf content.